originally made 13 years ago, whatever, and called Suit Around. And I saw that when I was a 13-year-old boy, and it had quite a profound effect on me, as most of the Wild Work stuff did, because I grew up watching them, and my dad worked for them. I put a playlist together. That's the kind of, I guess that's like the modern composer's equivalent of a scrapbook for, as an artist would. He would collect, or she would collect images. I collect loads of songs, put them into a big playlist and send them to the director and send them to the writer and the producer and say, this is, if you could put these 20 tracks together and blur them together, that's the world, the musical world I'd like to create.
There wasn't a selection, there was just, if you want to be involved in 100 UnEarth, we emailed, we put posters, there was emails to various different choir leaders, pass this on to your choir. I have 3 choirs and I passed it on to them, so a few people came from there. And just what's lovely is it's a real mixture of quite a few choirs and some absolute randoms, you know, so, and making a lovely group, actually.
When the air can smell so sweet, home, follow me home again.
It's selected on their availability, and then I make sure I've got enough of each part. And then when we do our rehearsal at the beginning, I listen and then I think, okay, so I've got to tweak their balance a bit and kind of move people and fit their sound with each other. So yeah, it's different every night. It sort of stretches me quite a lot.
Quite early on, Kyla, the director, said that she wanted to have a complete contrast between the First World War setting, and then once we get to Bordergate and we get through into the Underworld, it's like a bizarre, timeless lizard lounge, elevator Muzak sort of shopping department. But that's another thing, is like taking inspiration from movies. So I watched Black Orpheus, which is a 60s Brazilian film. And that was quite good for me to watch and go, wow, this is exactly the same story, but in a completely different culture and a completely different context. And it follows Orpheus. He lives in the shanty towns, the favelas of Rio de Janeiro, and it's carnival time. And so when he loses her at the end, she gets lost into the carnival of people, and he's trying to get her back. And the character of Orpheus walks around with a guitar, and the kids are always pestering him to sing a song. And then finally, at the end, when the sun comes up, he sings a song. So it's kind of a weird, like, knock-on, like, domino effect of then that reminded me of the film City of God, the Brazilian film. And there's an amazing moment in that film where 2 guys are running away from the police, and the camera's inside the car, and they play a piece of music by Cortola. And that song, it's like guitar and bassoon, I believe. So then I went back and dug that tune out, because I've always wanted to use that song. I remember it always really stuck with me. So I listened to that for ages and thought, right, maybe this is the theme of the show. This feels like this is exactly the essence of the 2 characters, and this could be their love song. And singing in Portuguese would be great, because Wild Works are quite multicultural company. We're trying to keep it really universal. And then I thought, well, that's a bit lazy, using somebody else's song which has already got loads of relations to a film. It's a bit lazy. So then I wrote the main theme as a kind of homage to that tune. So it's a sort of slightly bossa nova, Brazilian jazzy tune, and that became their love theme.
Orpheus!
So Seamus had a really strong opinion on what this piece should sound like, which has made my job quite easy because from day one we had a big phone call and he said, in the Underworld I really want a drone in this space to draw it all in. And I was like, great. And he said, we really want tannoy announcements to sound like a shopping centre or an airport lounge.
You may pass through, but do not linger. I repeat, do not linger.
There's not been many cases where we've been lacking for ideas. Someone has always said, this area needs this or this area needs that. And so I just take their examples or their ideas and make it and bring it in for them to listen. 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, that's exactly what we want.
This house, for example, that gets ripped apart, we really weren't sure whether we should need a sound effect for it, because it's quite a beautiful thing to watch a character rip a house apart in silence. And we didn't want to be too literal, and I said, well, maybe think of it as like it's Orpheus's heart being ripped apart rather than his house. So then the next day we come in and he's just put this beautiful little sort of thundery sound bed under it. It's like, you've read my mind.
No! No! No, I can't. You can't. I won't accept. I won't. What are these? What are